Welcome back, focused learners. So today, we're unpacking a really crucial explainer, and it's all about ascending the ladder of your own financial evolution. We're going to take this fascinating journey together. We'll start right down in the gritty, everyday reality of basic budgeting, and then we're going to climb all the way up to some truly advanced, life-changing wealth strategies. We've pulled together some incredibly insightful sources for this one, pulling from behavioral psychology all the way to the classic rich dad philosophy. So get ready, grab your mental notebook, because we are about to fundamentally shift how you look at every single dollar that passes through your hands. Let's just jump right in. To kick things off, we have a very special Day 2 focus. Just listen to this and feel the steady, inspirational rhythm of it. पैसा कमाना आसान है, लेकिन उसे संभालना ही असली कला है. पहला नियम याद रखो, जितना कमाओ, उससे कम खर्च करो. यही financial freedom की नींव है. It's such a simple but profound truth, right? Earning money is easy, but managing it, that is the true art. You've got to remember the very first rule: spend less than you earn. That right there is the absolute foundation of financial freedom. Now, obviously, earning more is a great goal, but as we're about to see, just earning more money without actually having a system in place is kind of a trap.
Okay, let's dive into exactly why it's a trap. Have you ever heard of Parkinson's law of finance? This is the hidden trap that is literally keeping so many high earners completely broke. You've probably heard of lifestyle creep, right? Psychologists sometimes call it lifestyle inflation. It's this wild phenomenon where every single increase in your income just automatically leads to a higher standard of living. You know how it goes. You get a raise, so you buy a better car. You get a bonus, suddenly you're taking a way more expensive vacation. And honestly, it feels natural. It feels like you've earned it. But here is the massive danger. You end up financing your own comfort instead of your true freedom. Look, if you can't save money from a small income, you are definitely not going to save from a large one. Parkinson's law pretty much guarantees that you'll just spend right up to your brand new limits. So the big question is, how do we actually break this law?
Well, to stop the financial leak, you need a system. And honestly, sometimes the absolute best system isn't some fancy automated app on your phone. It's the physical notebook method. Now, you might be wondering, why physical? Why not just use tech? Because we actually want a little bit of friction here. Those apps that just magically categorize your spending for you, they're entirely too easy. They give you absolutely no skin in the game. But by forcing yourself to manually, physically write things down, you create this intense financial awareness. It's basically a 3-step manual method. Step 1, you set up a basic income statement. Step 2, you create a weekly tally. In Step 3, you log your daily expenses. Let's break down exactly how this notebook setup works in the real world. It all comes down to a super simple 3-page notebook setup. Seriously, all you need is a cheap pocket notebook and a pen. That's it. Page 1, that's just your basic income minus your fixed expenses. Page 2 is for your weekly tallies. And page 3, well, this is where the real magic happens. This is where you instantly log your daily expenses. Oh, and you'll also want to leave just a little bit of space for those automatic bills, like your internet or car insurance that just hit your account seamlessly. Now, the absolute, undisputed key here is the daily habit. Writing down a purchase literally takes 5 to 15 seconds. It's a super low friction task, but actually doing it the very moment you hand over your cash or card, it forces you to actively acknowledge that purchase. If you commit to totaling everything up over a 3-month cycle, this totally organic process just strips away all your blind spots. It reveals your true discretionary savings. All right, so what's really interesting is how we systematize that newly discovered money. Once you know exactly what's coming in and going out, thanks to your notebook, you can apply the classic 50-30-20 rule. This creates a budget that actually practically works. Basically, you allocate 50% of your income to your needs. These are your absolute non-negotiables, right? Housing, groceries, utilities. Then 30% goes to your wants. Think dining out, hobbies, those fun vacations. And finally, 20% is strictly, ruthlessly dedicated to savings and paying down debt. And look, I want to be clear here. This isn't about depriving yourself at all. It's really about giving every single dollar a specific job, so you can totally enjoy your life right now while still locking down your future. To make that 50-30-20 rule practically foolproof in your daily life, we use the concept of savings buckets. Think about splitting your money into totally different mental and physical spaces. One bucket represents your non-negotiable pay-yourself-first funds, your future. The other bucket represents your lifestyle wants, that nice dining out experience, the new clothes. When you actually adopt this pay-yourself-first model, you perform this incredibly powerful psychological reset.
You are actively telling the world and yourself that your future self is just as important as your current monthly bills. By physically separating these buckets into totally different bank accounts, you remove the temptation to secretly eat into your savings when you just want to splurge on a nice dinner. You take care of your future first so you can guiltlessly, totally enjoy your lifestyle spending later.
But let's be real for a second. Why is this so incredibly hard for most people to actually execute? Honestly, it comes down to psychology. Think about the typical consumer mindset. Consumers generally use money to regulate their mood. They use it to reduce stress and essentially buy relief today. For a consumer, feeling good right now is the ultimate priority. But then contrast that with the investor mindset. And hey, this isn't about being some hotshot Wall Street trader. It's entirely about emotional regulation. Investors are actually willing to tolerate the emotional discomfort of delayed gratification today, just so they can leverage tomorrow. They embrace that temporary discomfort because they deeply, truly understand the absolute power of compounding. And here's the hard truth. Until you make this internal emotional shift, your financial progress is always going to be incredibly fragile.
So the whole thing really hinges on what we call time preference differences. It's fascinating. Consumers basically experience time emotionally. They want immediate comfort and they want highly visible short-term rewards right now. Their ultimate goal is usually just to reduce their daily stress levels. Investors, on the other hand, they experience time strategically. Their focus is completely on compounding and creating optionality for themselves. They're aiming for what we call asymmetric outcomes. That's where a small, very calculated sacrifice today yields a massive, disproportionate reward way down the line. Their goal isn't just basic stress reduction. They want total, unshakable control over their own lives. You really have to remember this. Patience protects you against emotional errors much, much more than pure intelligence ever will. And gaining that level of control leads us to a massive distinction in the financial world. We're talking about financial independence versus financial freedom. A lot of people use those interchangeably, but they are absolutely not the same thing. Financial independence is really just the foundation. It basically means your passive income barely covers your basic living expenses. It provides what you might call a minimum viable life, and it's entirely focused on security. But financial freedom? Oh, that is the glorious lifestyle you build on top of that foundation. It's living a truly aspirational, choice-based life where your focus is on fulfillment rather than just mere survival. Independence means you don't have to work just to survive. Freedom, though. Freedom means you work completely on your own terms, entirely insulated from money-related stress. But how do we actually reach that absolute pinnacle of financial freedom? Well, I'm going to deliver a bit of a twist here, straight from the classic rich dad philosophy. Now, we started this whole explainer by agreeing that the first rule of money is to spend less than you earn. But I want you to consider this massive paradigm shift. Only poor people live below their means. The wealthy expand their income to support their lives. Now wait, pay very close attention to this. This absolutely does not mean you should go out and spend recklessly. Not at all. What it means is that endlessly compressing your expenses and shrinking your life is a dead end. Living below your means is simply the starting block. The ultimate rule of the wealthy is building an engine to constantly expand your means. Let's break that concept down even further because it's a game changer. Think of the traditional advice as the restraint model. It's very static. You cut your spending, you live way below your means, and you basically just tread water. When you want something nice, you look at your spreadsheet and say, I can't afford this. But the wealthy use the direction model. This is dynamic, it's compounding. Instead of saying, I can't afford it, they ask a much, much better question. How can I acquire an asset that pays for this? They strategically use good debt that buys cash-flowing assets to fund the lifestyle they desire, rather than using bad debt to just buy depreciating liabilities. It is a fundamental mindset shift from constriction to creation. And the ultimate destination of that dynamic direction model, it really boils down to acquiring these 4 primary cash-flowing asset classes. Number 1, real estate. This provides that steady, predictable rental income. Number 2, paper assets, things like dividend-paying stocks or options premiums. Number 3, business ownership. Now, this means generating systemic income without requiring your direct 9-to-5 daily labor. And finally, number 4, commodities, which act as a vital, necessary hedge against inflation. Your ultimate mission here is to systematically acquire these exact assets until the monthly cash flow they generate equals or completely exceeds your living expenses. That right there, that is the strict, undeniable mathematical definition of freedom. Which brings us to the end of our explainer today. We have traveled quite a long way, from literally tracking pennies in a physical pocket notebook to fundamentally shifting our deep psychological time preferences, all the way up to strategically acquiring major cash-flowing assets. Look, financial freedom is not some mythical status that's just reserved for the incredibly lucky or the hyper-intelligent. No way. It is built systematically through intentional, highly structured daily habits. So I want to leave you with this provocative challenge to really ponder on today. What asset will you build today to fund your freedom tomorrow? Are you going to remain a reactive consumer, or are you finally ready to step up and become a proactive investor? Think about it, take action, and we will see you in the next explainer.